Oh, that's okay. That's a good question. Now, I think the most primary way would be that web design is all RGB. Print design is usually CMYK, at least for the offset printing. The second thing is, web design is generally for screen display, meaning 72 pixels per inch. You would design on low res. But for print media, especially offset or generally printing, especially with a smaller size printing, you would design at 300 dpi, 300 dots per inch. I think the third thing, and perhaps the most important part would be print design is more, towards inches. You would be designing in inches, maybe cm, millimeters. Feet perhaps in for billboards, for websites, it's all pixels per inch. It's 72 pixels, so that's the resolution. So your size would be like 800 by 600. Resolution screen size 102476 pixels. So your measurement of size of the screen is in pixels in the case of web design or screen design. But in terms of print media design, it's all inches by millimeters or centimeters or feet and so on. So yeah, size difference. I think aside from that, let's see. Yes, generally what happens is if you're designing for the web, you have to be very careful that you really need to make the text smaller. Maybe you can make it larger or smaller, because people who view your website on the internet, they can always make the text size bigger. View के through बड़ा कर सकते हैं. But in the terms of the print media, जो कुछ print होगा, then you can't really make it bigger after it's printed. They can just make it closer or farther away. So you have to be very careful about the font sizing when you're printing something as compared to when you're putting something on the web, because people can make the font size bigger. That's also essential. Aside from that, let's see. I think a lot of the website design that generally happens is, it's of two levels. One level is people who are just doing it in Photoshop maybe. तो उसमें क्या होता है, you're basically making an image, like a JPEG. उसको आप different parts slice कर दें and so on. And so you can use anything in a website. मगर print के अंदर क्या होता है कि आपके source images का भी आपको देखना पड़ता है. Maybe the quality of it, is it good quality, good resolution, is it pixelated? A lot of these things are more because especially I think when you're going for small scale or small size printing, resolution matters. If you're going for long size, as in billboard printing, then resolution issues are quite different. The bigger the size, the lower the resolution, and so on. So yeah, I think that's your answer. Well, if the monitor supports HD resolution, then yeah, it supports high resolution. So I would say it's more towards the how high can the resolution go, how large is the monitor, how many colors. Colors is not a main factor actually. It's more to do with something called what kind of material they use inside it, because apparently this whole color calibrated, you have some special kind of professional monitors, and a lot of that has to do mostly with the company. Not all companies support that kind of technology, especially if you're dealing with things like consumer monitors, or lower price monitors or higher price monitors. Again, this is a very generic question, I think. Yes. For America, where they have these high-speed connections, they can go like a megabyte per page. I mean, for them it's fast, right? Okay, third world countries around the developing world, Pakistan, these areas, I would suggest something like, I don't know, between 100k and 200 kilobytes at least. Something between that would be nice. But apparently, if you have a lot of images, then obviously your size would be much larger. So it's a variable factor actually. I don't recommend using Flash too much in Pakistan, because most people may not have the browser, the plugin installed properly, or maybe simply their speed is slow of the internet. It's a very variable question. There is no solid one answer to this. I don't think so. Yeah, CSS is short form of cascading style sheets. Basically, it was a system created by HTML, people who do scripting and the whole W3 commission. Now, the CSS idea was basically to make sure that your design remains consistent. My point is, look at the example. You're making annual report. Every page is like, has a logo. Now if you make the annual report and you put a logo on every page, and some, like the company says, change my logo. So when you change the logo, you would have to go to every page and change it. That's insane. That would take you long. So what they've done is basically they have a certain CSS file, and they use, instead of like Times Roman 13 point and so on, they basically have tags like H1, H2, H3, H4. You can have as many tags as you want. उस tags में क्या होता है कि वो tags आपने लगा दिया. Now आप master CSS file में एक option change कर दें, और throughout the website वो certain font पे change आएगा, उसकी sizing, whatever. So it's a very nice way to control your design very fast, optimized way. Yes, go ahead. Okay, anti-aliasing essentially is a mathematical process which basically applies on vector graphics as well as fonts. And so if you have fonts which do not have anti-aliasing, font edges are all jaggy and lined and vector and sharp and stuff. Okay, when you have anti-aliasing on, the font becomes smoother, and essentially the font, you can make it maybe smaller size. It becomes a bit smudged. It becomes strong. You can make it bold, and the font itself would be how to say. Easy to read, perhaps, yes.
Okay.
Again, it depends on what kind of screen you're using. If you're using the wide screen, I mean, a lot of people these days have these LCDs, wide screens. So I would assume that if you have a horizontal layout which allows all the elements to fit in the main page, you can click on the options and open them. Or if you have a vertical layout with a lot of text, so that would also be one possible solution. Mr. Harimi Sumro is saying hello.